Each team only turned it over 8 times. In the second half, Wildwood Catholic just 3. Pennsgrove turned it over 5 times. So, those little things, every possession is very important. And that was a key contributor to why the Crusaders were able to pull away and win in this second half the way they did.
So they win at 52-39. They take the championship of the Frank McElaren Memorial Boys Bracket. Joining us now is Wildwood Catholic head coach Dave Deweese. And, Coach, this has to be a very satisfying victory, both victories, to come in and, you beat Wildwood last Saturday and then you win a bracket here. It's got to be very satisfying going out of the tournament having won all 3 of your games.
It is. We were fortunate to beat 2 very good teams. This team today is a very, very good team. They have a great resume. They got a couple good wins already this year, beating Pittman and Williamstown. It's a very good team, and for us to get this win here today was awesome.
Buddy was mentioning the stats. Pennsgrove came out and they weren't really playing basketball so much as they were playing volleyball in the offensive glass, but you seemed to shore that up in the second half when you pulled away.
We've had quite a bit of difficulty this season so far on our rebounding. It was our focus all week. We didn't do a very good job against Central Bucks East. We knew today would be our toughest test on the boards. They took it to us in the first half pretty good. We talked about it at halftime quite a bit, and we came out and did a better job. I thought Eddie McWade did an outstanding job on the boards in the second half, and Mookie did a great job on the boards in the second half also.
And the one thing too was against a very athletic and really relentless defensive team. You really handled pressure well once you got the lead.
I think we had 8 turnovers. I think
overall
game, yes, for the game, which is pretty amazing against that team. I mean, that's probably the most pressure that we're going to see all season long, and for us to be able to handle that, especially as you said, down the stretch, we had a lead and we were able to maintain the lead, and we didn't really hold the ball. We looked to continue to attack the basket, which is key when somebody's putting that kind of pressure on you.
You're now 5-1, I believe.
Correct.
5-1, and a lot of teams through their holiday. You come out of the holidays, it's kind of like there's a little mini break here. Everyone kind of assesses where they are. I mean, to be 5-1 and after what you did here, you got to be real happy with how you're set up going into January and February.
I think we had a lot of unknowns coming into the season, and what we tried to do this year was to make our goals a little more short term. Our goal for December was to come out above 500. Our goal was to be 4-2. We matched that yesterday, and we knew today we had an opportunity to surpass that goal, and we were fortunate enough today to get this win. 5-1 for us in December is outstanding. We started out with that first loss, the first game of the year at Sacred Heart, and we've rebounded with 5 straight wins against some very quality opponents. I mean, Rancocas Valley, CB East, and this team today, those are some really big wins. And Wildwood's a very good team. That was a big win, too.
And I was going to go back to that as well. You win a game against Wildwood in overtime, obviously a rivalry game. Your guards, you had to play most of the second half. I mean, Kevin McWade, wasn't not here because of the flu. Then George Cook gets hurt midway when you're in control of the game, midway through the third quarter. And then the wheels kind of come off the bus because there's nobody that could step up and handle the basketball against the pressure that Wildwood threw at you, which we mentioned that night was some pretty good defensive pressure. Then you come back out tonight against this Pennsgrove team who really put great pressure on the ball. So, you're talking you have an overtime win, a 2-point win, and even though this game ended up being a 13-point win, that was not indicative of how close the game was, in the second half when you guys were able to pull away. Right. And they were able to miss free throws. But it's very big to win these kind of games going into now the regular season in January.
These games certainly prepared us. We have 2 big division games this week. We play Pleasantville on Thursday and St. Joe's on Saturday, which are 2 big division rivals. So I think this tournament certainly prepared us for those games coming up this week.
And one more thing, Coach, before we let you go. In your game, the semifinal game to get to this game, Jordan Robertson, he had 15 that game. Clinton Freeman had 16. McWade only had 4. He ended up fouling out. And then tonight, Robertson comes back to lead the way with 16. McWade comes back with 15. Freeman has 10. Freeman and McWade, they have a double-double, each with 10 rebounds. So the balance. And then Kevin McWade second game in a row, he doesn't even take a shot. And all he does is come out and play. You know, he's the floor general, as is George Cook, who only took 2 shots, making both of them. How unselfish they are, and they know to get the ball to the big 3.
Yeah, our guards have stepped up. You know, we had a big void left when T-John graduated, and the 2 guards have stepped up and have been able to handle pressure. You know, we've seen a lot of pressure already for early in the season, and those 2 guards have stepped up and done a heck of a job in being able to handle the pressure.
All right, so Wildwood Catholic wins at 52-39. We thank Coach Dave DeWeese for coming on. You went 3-0 this year, so next year you're playing St. Anthony and Math, Civics, and Science.
Thanks. Thanks for having me on. Thanks,
congratulations.
All right, thanks.
52-39 again. Wildwood Catholic wins it over Pennsgrove, and they win the bracket title. Once again, we will be doing a special online internet broadcast only on CapeMayCountySports.com of the St. Anthony Camden game coming up at 8:15. And, you know, Wildwood Catholic, buddy, you know, there's times where, you know, we set this tournament up, and a lot of times with teams out of the area and whatever, you don't know about competitive level, you know, and sometimes you can have a lopsided game or two, but you know, Wildwood Catholic had to come in here and win 3 games, as Dave just said, against 3 really good basketball teams. You know, 3 teams that all have winning records. You know, and 3 very close games. I mean, even though this one ended up as 13. So you know, these are impressive victories for Wildwood Catholic here, and you know, I don't think a lot of people thought this team would be 5-1 coming out of through the Christmas holidays, especially considering the competition that they've played so far.
Well, quite frankly, I thought they'd be 6-0. I don't know how they lost the Sacred Heart. But you're right. You know, to be 5-1, to come through this tournament and play Central Bucks East and beat them in 39-37 in the semifinal game in this bracket, and then to come out here and beat Pennsgrove the way they did. Pennsgrove, a very well coached team. Coach Kemp Carr does a great job with the Red Devils. And again, a tough group of kids. They play smart. That was we said it before the game. We wanted to have an enjoyable game of basketball to sit here and call. And we got to thank both teams, both coaching staffs, and all the kids, because that was 32 minutes of good basketball.
It certainly was. All right, that's going to wrap it up from here. Wildwood Catholic wins at 52-39 over Pennsgrove to win the Frank McElharna Memorial Boys Bracket Championship game. One thing I do want to say, since, Buddy, you and I are both heavily involved here at the tournament, we do have to thank all of our sponsors who help with this tournament, all the teams for coming here, and all the tremendous volunteers. You know, and that's the one thing I think that separates this tournament. I say it obviously with a biased angle, but, you know, and not to slight any other tournaments, but it's a flat-out all-volunteer operation here. And we wouldn't do it without all the volunteers. So thanks to all of them.
And also, Brian, you know, the volunteers are huge, but what a facility. What a staff here at the Convention Center. And, you know, you're talking this facility is second to none on the East Coast, especially to host high school basketball.
No question about it. So, again, Wildwood Catholic, a winner in their bracket. We'll be signing off on the radio for now. Come back and watch the St. Anthony game at 8:15 on CapeMayCountySports.com. And, again, plenty of tickets available for tonight's game. The building seats 1,800, so I think we'll be able to get everybody in comfortably. It's a $10 ticket. Morrell Dobbins Tech against Math, Civics, and Sciences Charter at 6:30, and then Camden against St. Anthony at 8:15. For Matt Ulmer on the video, for all the guys back at the studio, and all of our sponsors, both on the radio, and Ulmer's Appliance for sponsoring the video, and my partner, Buddy Tarbot, and I'm Brian Kniff. This has been High School Basketball on 98.7 The Coast and CapeMayCountySports.com.